Hello. Hello. Happy Monday. I know this is an odd time to go live. Um, but I told you guys that I was gonna get back into uh, video production. So I just kind of wanted to throw myself out there. Today it's Monday, November 3rd. It's 9:51 Eastern time. You gotta excuse me, I have my window open because it's finally cool in Florida. But yeah, I wanted to talk about, hey, boy with a glass heart, how are you? Just coming on here to say hi. And as you can see from the topic, how illness affects the voice, I thought this would be a good topic for me to start with, considering what I've gone through over the last year and a half, and even seeing what I went through during cancer treatment. I noticed that I lost a lot of pitches. And excuse my voice right now. I think I'm just a little dehydrated. I'm good, darling. How are you? I'm well, thank you. I noticed that I had a lot of, I lost a lot of notes, and it also just kind of hurt to sing. And I think many of us can, there's many reasons why, we would have issues with our voice, whether it's something as simple as having a cold or even having the flu. Or I know people who have had COVID and their voice was just never the same. Um, you have allergies, acid reflux, um, neurological issues, vocal paralysis, all kinds of things can happen along the way that make our voices just not function the way that we want them to. And so today I wanted to talk about how it affects the voice and what are some things we can do to mitigate those things. So the first thing we can talk about is, how does it affect the voice? It affects the voice by your voice getting tired sooner than it normally would. Your voice may, again, you might lose some pitches. It just may hurt to sing altogether. Your voice may sound airy. And when your voice is going through all of those things, the tendency is to want to oversing and overcompensate for those things. When really what we should be doing is pulling back and giving our voice a chance. And why should we pull back? It's because if we keep going forward, that vocal pain, that vocal fatigue, um, can turn into vocal damage, can turn into vocal disorders. Um, it can turn into bleeding on the vocal folds. It could turn, laryngitis could turn into nodules. And so we don't want to create something that then a doctor is going to have to intervene, or we're going to have to, be on vocal bed rest, so to speak, for 3 months at a time or for 6 months at a time, and have to go through surgeries and all of that. And so it's very important to always be aware of the health of your voice. One thing that being a singer has taught me is to be hyper aware of my body. Um, and it may almost be to the point of paranoia, but I think it works out for me because I'm very aware of how my voice is feeling at all times. Just like how I started, I said, I think I might be a little dehydrated because I feel a little It's important to understand your voice in and out. How does it feel? How does your body feel when your voice is doing well? How does your body feel when your voice isn't doing so well? What are certain environments you're going into? Who are certain people you're talking to that you find yourself, speaking higher, louder than you normally do, speaking longer than you normally do, and how is that affecting your voice? 80% of our vocal issues start with the way that we speak, and it just carries into how we sing. Oftentimes we've used up most of our voice when we're speaking. And so, how does illness affect the voice? We have to be aware that, okay, I'm not having a good day, a good month, a good year, because I mean, in my case, it was chemotherapy. In my case, it was chemotherapy. It was, I mean, I still had a voice, but it wasn't weaker, but it felt like it took more out of me to sing. It took more out of me to sing, and I did lose range, and it hurt. to sing above a certain, it just wasn't there. There were certain pitches that just weren't there. It was just wasn't there. And I'm talking A4, B4, C5s, just did not exist anymore. And even in my head voice, I could do them, but they were tiring. So when you know that you're having that, you have to be vigilant and say, okay, well, I'm only going to sing songs that have this particular range. I'm only going to sing for a short period of time. If you notice, a lot of my singing, I'm sitting down because singing takes so much out of me now that it's hard for me to stand in heels and sing. That takes a lot. So I have to kind of choose, okay, if I'm going to fully engage with this song, I may need to sit down, or I may need to wear flats, or I may need to blah, 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 or I may need to just lower the song a couple of keys, which y'all know I love to do that anyway. But especially now that my health has been compromised, you kind of just have to give your body grace and stop. Don't compare it to what it was when you were fully functional, because that day is not today. So it's not helpful to look at what you used to do. I know a lot of people come to voice lessons and they say, man, I used to be able to hit these notes. I used to be able to sing this song. I used to be able to. It's like, well, baby, you went through puberty, or you went through whatever. You can't do it no more. Now let's deal with the voice you have, because the voice you have is still capable of doing a lot of things. I think about lupus warriors. Yeah, I think what I've gone through has made me particularly sensitive to people with chronic illnesses. I think before I just didn't understand the plight of a person with a chronic illness. And thank God I don't have a chronic illness, but I did have an illness that created chronic side effects. They're just lasting and lasting and lasting. And so I do understand now how sometimes you feel like, dang, am I having a flare up? Did I sleep well enough? Did I eat well enough? What did I do wrong that I'm not feeling well? So I have a particular sensitivity to that now. And I just want to say, pace yourself, be forgiving of yourself, be gracious towards yourself, and don't try to push through it in the sense that you hurt yourself trying to prove something. I love Money Long. And I love Money Long because, Money is a lupus warrior. She's been very vocal about that. And you have to know that fighting an autoimmune disease is going to affect the voice. And I hear that in her voice. Some days her voice is super pristine, and then other days her voice is a little bit more airy. Then she's in the hospital with pneumonia. It's like there's so much going on. The girl is incredibly talented, but and I love that she is always prioritizing herself and her health, because the truth is, if she collapses on stage, it's going to be RIP for about a week or two, and then that's it. People move on. And if she wants to live, she has to prioritize herself so that she can live a long life as well as she possibly can. So, yes, Toni Braxton does have lupus as well. And when you have these kinds of chronic illnesses, you have to take care of yourself and not try to live up to anybody's expectations. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that was insightful. I hope that was encouraging. But yeah, that's all I kind of had to say tonight. Of course, I would love to see and hear, your inputs of how this made you feel. And I'll talk to you soon. So what I'm going to start doing is every Monday night doing a live like this. Thank you, Boy with a Glass Heart. I'm going to be coming every Monday night doing a live, just talking about stuff. So, bye.